This is a zebrafish, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how this fish can fix your vision loss. I'll do it without injecting all kinds of dangerous drugs into your eyeballs, without letting you spend a single red cent on eyeglasses or other crutches, and without wasting a second of your time on ludicrous eye exercises. But first, I've got to warn you, the technique you're about to discover has been used successfully by over 13,000 regular people, just like you, who are finding it harder and harder to keep crystal clear vision the older they got. And it's going to shock the heck out of your family when they realize you're 100% independent again, and with damn near 20/20 vision to boot. But since that means 13,000 less customers splurging their money on Big Pharma's medication merry-go-round, my lawyers have warned me not to leave this video up for longer than 24 hours, which means this could be the only chance to watch this video all the way through. So if your vision has gotten worse in the last few months, if you see dark spots, floaters, or just have a little trouble reading road signs, and if it's made you terrified at the dark and lonely future that awaits, then don't set this video aside for later, because it may not be here when you come back. And if you watch until the end of this short video, I'm going to give you the system that is literally step-by-step and is proven to restore and regenerate aging vision so quickly and so effectively that the scientists who originally made this discovery received the Nobel Prize. And now I've used this discovery to help thousands get their vision back, including my own. It even works if you already think you're too far gone. And in fact, if you follow my step-by-step method to the letter, it doesn't matter how bad your vision's already become. Your eyesight has to recover. Wouldn't that be a secret you'd love to know? See, the truth is when you were younger, your eyes went through this exact same recovery process every time they got damaged. You just didn't realize it because it happened on autopilot. All you've got to do is turn it on again. And as you'll see, it's actually really easy to do. And thanks to this strange zebrafish discovery. And trust me, you've never seen anything like this before. So make sure you watch this video to the very end. But first, I'm going to tell you my horror story. And I realize most people would instead tell you about all the research they've done. And I'll get to that too, I promise. I'll even introduce you to the Nobel Prize winning scientist who made this discovery possible. And I'll explain in plain English how you can use it to restore your vision. I'll get to all that in a few minutes. But I know all you really want is a solution. And it's why I've got to tell you my roller coaster of a story. See, it all started a little over a year ago when I stepped into the hospital delivery room ready to meet my newborn granddaughter for the very first time. I could hear my daughter crying joyfully. I could sense the presence of nurses and doctors as they moved back and forth. And when someone in the room placed my minutes-old granddaughter into my arms, I immediately felt the unbelievable softness of her skin and how she just radiated warmth like a little furnace. She was my first grandchild. My daughter had decided to name her Anna after my deceased wife. And when my daughter asked me, "What do you think, Dad? Isn't she beautiful?" all I could do was lie. "She's perfect," I said. But the truth was, I had no idea. I couldn't see my granddaughter's face at all. In fact, I could hardly see anything in the room. It was all dark spots and clouds. The curse of my macular degeneration, along with my ever-persistent cataract. And while this should have been one of the happiest moments of my life, all I could think about was how sad I was. Because sitting there holding my 6.4-pound little granddaughter, I suddenly realized that even if I lived for another 50 years, I'd still miss her entire life. I'd never be able to read my granddaughter a bedtime story. Her parents would never let me babysit. She'd never get to stay over at Grandpa's house or even be dropped off for dinner, and I'd never be able to take her bird watching or get to see her riding her bike. Even her smile, I'd never get to know what her smile looked like or see if her hair ended up more like her mom's or her dad's. Suddenly my mind was flashing forward into the future, to kindergarten, to talent shows, to her first dance, to her high school graduation, to one day starting a family of her own. I wouldn't see a thing, and it was all because of my dying eyes. Hi, my name is John Nichols, and that was one of the most heartbreaking moments of my life. In fact, the only reason I'm okay with talking about any of this with you is because while I didn't know it at the time, that day in the hospital, the moment I thought my life was pretty much over, is what would ultimately lead me to do something most experts said was impossible. When I fixed my fading vision so fully and completely that I went from legally blind to near 20/20 vision in under 4 short months. I did it all without needing a single injection, operation, procedure, or drug too. And while I'm sure you're thinking I must be nuts, the truth is, the only reason I was able to do this, to completely heal my dying vision and to get the upper hand on my so-called permanent eye damage forever, is because of a major new discovery in the field of adult repair stem cells. The discovery that brought the Nobel Prize to the scientist who made it, and that has since become an obsession for the scientists at Harvard's prestigious Stem Cell Institute, along with researchers at Vanderbilt University, the University of Utah, and the National Health Services in the UK. As you're going to see right inside this short and extremely controversial video, this new stem cell advancement is a godsend for anyone who's been suffering from fading vision. And it works no matter whether you suffer from cataracts and age-related macular degeneration like me, or if you have glaucoma or diabetic retinopathy, or even if you've simply been nearsighted or farsighted your entire life. and you're sick of spending hundreds of dollars per year on contacts or glasses. When it comes to declining vision, this truly is the silver bullet, something that fixes everything at once in a very short amount of time. And the reason why is because you get your body to produce more stem cells again, which you'll see how to do inside this video. They go directly to the places where they're needed the most, including your eyes. And they start healing you on a cellular level, from head to toe, until before you know it, not only has your vision been restored, but you've rejuvenated your entire body too. Your heart, your liver, your skin, your brain, your colon, your hair, and more. And while, yes, I do know how sensational this sounds, during this presentation you'll see oceans of research from places like Harvard, Yale, Johns Hopkins, and others, all proving this is true, and showing us that today, for the first time ever, losing your vision and growing old is no longer a certainty. It's entirely your choice. Imagine no more fear or anxiety about going permanently blind. No more isolation because it's not safe to drive and you can't leave the house. No more frustration that you can't do crossword puzzles, cooking, reading, knitting, gardening, golfing, and all the other activities you love. No more humiliation because your family acts like you're a burden, someone who just should go live in a home already. You can say goodbye to all of this and more. And it's all thanks to the Nobel Prize-winning discovery you'll find inside this presentation. Plus, because this breakthrough harnesses the power of adult stem cells that are already inside of you, it has nothing to do with unborn babies or abortion, and it's 100% Christian approved. In fact, I personally believe this breakthrough is only made possible thanks to God himself, because the way it works is so simple yet divinely elegant that to me is pretty clear proof that God truly exists. And while many stem cell therapies out there involve trips to the doctors, huge needles, risky procedures, and tens of thousands of dollars out of your pocket, this breakthrough is 100% natural, doesn't require a single doctor visit, and is wildly inexpensive. Yet is proven to be 100% safe and effective in numerous human studies. And it's already being used by a small handful of men and women all across the US, many of whom were afraid that their days of crystal clear vision were gone forever, but who are now seeing better than they have in decades. All thanks to what they discovered inside this video. Like Jen M. in Kansas. She says, "Skeptical is an understatement. I was almost mad when I first came across your video. I thought it had to be baloney. The only reason I was even willing to keep watching is because my glaucoma has gotten so bad I feared going blind. And I thought maybe I'd at least learn something new or interesting. Well, it turns out I did a whole lot more than just learn. Since starting to use what you shared in your presentation, the transformation has been breathtaking. It's like a light switch was flipped. My vision is so much clearer now. It's sharper too. I can see objects that are close and far away without having to squint. I haven't seen this well in years. This is a miracle. Thank you, thank you, thank you." And Bernard T. of Alabama, he writes, "After I failed my driving test 2 times in a row, I thought I'd never get behind the wheel again. Broke my heart. My wife Shannon's vision was just as bad too. In fact, she'd lost her license about a year before me. So I was getting ready to sell the RV, even though my family had made so many great memories in it. I also worried about my and Shannon's independence. I didn't know how we were going to get around. The idea that I'd have to call an Uber in an emergency was not very comforting. Now, all those worries are a thing of the past. I'm back to near 20/20 vision, and so is Shannon. And it's only been a few months. It seems impossible, I know, but you were right. I just want to write this, and you can put it on your website if you want. I want people to know that they need to listen to what you're saying. It's crazy this hasn't already gone viral." Now, Jen and Bernard are just 2 of the dozens of emails and letters I'm getting each week. And I got to tell you, just the fact that I can actually read those letters and emails without having to use a magnifying glass or ask someone for help is such an incredible feeling. And I'm sure you'd like to experience the same thing too, right? So let's go ahead and get started. Because right now, I want to share the story of exactly how I came across this stem cell miracle, give you all of the science behind how it works, then share with you the exact steps you should start taking today so that you can restore your eyesight and your vision and reclaim your independence and happiness as a result. So like I mentioned, my name is John Nichols, and I live just outside of Dallas, Texas. By all accounts or measures, I'm the definition of average. I served in the United States Marine Corps from 18 until I was 28. Then I moved back home to Texas, where I was lucky to have a long and decent paying career in the oil and natural gas industry. I was even more lucky when I met the love of my life, Annabelle. And together we had 3 beautiful children, Haley, Jennifer, and Russ. Building a family and a home, it was the greatest thing I ever did in my life. And I thank God daily for those good years that he gave to me and the ones I loved. Because it wasn't all good years. And while I know God always has a plan, when my wife Annabelle died of cancer 12 years ago, it was devastating. In fact, I thought it couldn't get any worse than that, but I was wrong. Because a few years after Anna died, I started noticing some funky things going on with my vision. At first it was just some small little dark spots, which were annoying, but I wasn't too worried. But when I went to my eye doctor, he told me that it looked like I had age-related macular degeneration, AMD, but that it was very early stages, so I shouldn't freak out. Then he told me to take some vitamins, which conveniently he sold right at his practice. Eat a lot of leafy greens, keep exercising, and if I did all of those things, I should be fine. I had no reason to not listen to my doc, so that's what I did. And for the next few years, things seemed fine enough. But then a couple years after those dark spots had first appeared, they started getting a whole lot worse. Suddenly, the entire center of my vision was a black blob. I could see things out of my peripheral vision, but not the middle. And weird things started happening, like straight lines began looking wavy, which I guess is actually very common when you've got AMD. Even more alarmingly, though, I noticed that it was no longer just one eye. Now both eyes were having these issues. And when I went back to the doc, he said that my AMD had progressed and gotten worse. Plus, he said that while I'd started out with what they call dry macular degeneration, my right eye now had the wet version, because I guess a blood vessel had burst. The wet kind was a lot more serious, he told me, because people can go blind from it in a matter of days. And this is when he started doing injections of something called Eylea into my eye, which I must have gotten at least 10 of these injections in the 2 years that followed. The cost of these injections was $1,900 each time, by the way, and thank God Medicare covered some of it, but they still hurt my pocketbook a lot. And beyond the cost, I probably don't have to tell you how unpleasant it is having to go to the doctor and knowing he's going to stick a dripping needle directly into your eye. It makes me shudder, honestly. But I figured it would still all be worth it, at least if these injections helped. And they did, for a while. But then just like when I was first diagnosed with dry AMD, the wet AMD started progressing too. Plus, I was lucky enough to start developing cataracts too, which honestly, I'm guessing were caused by the injections, even though my eye doc denied it. And so now, not only did I have this black dead zone in my field of vision, but even the part where I could see, it was yellow and cloudy too. That's when things got real tough. I used to love reading my mystery novels, and while at first, if I got the really large print books, I could still read them. As my AMD and cataracts got worse, I stopped being able to read altogether. It was simply impossible. Plus, while early on I'd still been able to drive my car because my right eye was able to compensate for my left eye, once both eyes got bad, there was no more driving for me. It was too dangerous. And that meant suddenly I was entirely isolated and all alone. Even little things like cooking myself dinner, which I used to really enjoy, they became impossible because I had such big gaps in my vision that even so-called simple stuff like cutting vegetables became a serious hazard. And more than once I ended up slicing right into my thumb. It got to the point where I felt like a prisoner, not just in my home, but even in my own body. And while I hate to admit it, more than one time I thought about disobeying the Lord and just ending it all. And probably the only reason I didn't kill myself, if I'm being honest, is because of my strong Christian faith, along with my family. And when I got the news that my daughter Haley was pregnant and that I'd finally get to be a grandpa, I said to myself, well, maybe God does have a plan here after all. But then there was that day in the hospital where I held that precious grandchild of mine for the first time, felt her tiny little chest rising up and down, sucking in air, and it hit me that I'd never actually be able to see her face, or really see any of her at all. And if I was being brutally honest, little Anna would probably grow up thinking Grandpa was just some old senile crackpot, someone she had to be nice to and respect. But I could already imagine her getting into fights with her parents or not wanting to go over to Grandpa's house because he's so boring and old. And that just broke my heart, to the point where I knew that something had to give. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized I only had two options. Option one was to accept my old age and my dying eyes, and the fact that I'd probably be moved into a nursing home before long. Option two was to find a way, any way, to get my vision back. And of course, option two is a lot more preferable. And the next time I saw my eye doctor, I asked him if there was anything I'd be missing, even experimental new procedures or operations. Wasn't there something we could try? Well, I couldn't even see the guy's face, but I could tell he was shaking his head. And he basically told me that while there were always experimental procedures and trials going on, there was a pretty much 0% chance that I'd ever get to participate in any of them, and that he was sorry and all, but really my best bet was to learn to live with what I had. Then he gave me, and I'm not joking, a pamphlet about coping with AMD, which was hilarious, of course, because by that point I couldn't read a darn thing, let alone some tiny printed little brochure. So I had to laugh about that. But when my daughter dropped me off at home that afternoon, I grew sad again, because it really didn't seem like there was any hope for me at all. And I remember thinking to myself that I was being foolish for even thinking that my vision could ever be restored, because really it would take a miracle. It turns out, though, that I knew someone who's pretty good at the whole miracle thing. His name is Jesus. And that evening, he must have been listening to me as I said this, because not 3 weeks later, a miracle did arrive. And though I didn't recognize it at first. You see, it was just getting on into summer, and my nephew Jonathan asked if he could stay at my house for a few weeks. Jonathan had just wrapped up 8 years in the Navy, and he wanted to move back home to Texas, but he didn't have a place lined up yet and considering I was living alone and had pretty much zilch going on since I couldn't leave the house on account of my eyes, I jumped at the chance to have the young man as a guest. So that's exactly what he did. Jonathan came to stay with me, and he was such a smart young man that I felt awfully proud of him, and mighty thankful to the Navy for everything they'd done for him too. Pretty much every single day, Jonathan would help me out around the house, take me to do errands, and just generally be a real light in my life. It also happened that in the evenings, around dinner time, Jonathan started reading me news articles from his smartphone, which was also really nice because while I still had my ears and could listen to the news, it was more fun when he did it, and we could discuss the stories and what they meant. We passed a lot of evenings that way. But then, one evening in late July, Jonathan came across a story on his phone that stopped us both dead in our tracks. It was titled, "Stem Cell Therapy Reverses Sight Loss and Lets People Read Again." And basically what had happened is that scientists in the United Kingdom had grown a layer of stem cells in strict laboratory conditions for several months, then transplanted them into the retinas of two patients, one a man in his 80s and one a woman in her 60s, both of whom had age-related macular degeneration. Then the article said that the two people went from being not able to read at all to reading 60 to 80 words per minute with normal reading glasses. They were monitored for 12 months after the procedure and reported no severe side effects. Well, when Jonathan read me all of this, I felt a feeling And even though the results of these trials had been magnificent, it was pretty likely that it would probably be another 10 years, or maybe even longer, until any kind of stem cell treatment was made publicly available to folks like me and you. Plus, even when that did happen, you had to wonder if these treatments would be really safe, or would they come with risks? And how much money would they really cost? I had no idea what the answer was to these questions. And I felt almost like I was being teased, because while everything I was hearing suggested that we really are on the cusp of pretty much eradicating blindness forever, I still didn't know when it would actually be available to me. So yet again, I thought maybe I was in over my head and that I should just let all of this go. And that's probably what I would have done, except yet again, God decided to step in and intervene. See, what happened is that my nephew Jonathan had a buddy in town, a friend of his from the Navy named Bobby. And one night we had him over to my house for supper. For most of the evening, it was just pleasant enough small talk. I asked Bobby what he did in the Navy, and he said he was a marine biologist in the and look into some of the foods that zebra example, another major nutrient in the zebrafish's diet is something called astaxanthin, which I'd never heard of before, but it's what's called a carotenoid. And it's found in algae, krill, and shrimp, which all happen to be things that zebrafish love to eat. It turns out that in a brand new study that was published on the website of the National Institutes of Health, the NIH, a team of 4 scientists had done an in-depth study of how astaxanthin influences human cells. And they found that, sure enough, this tiny sea-based nutrient has the ability to enhance the self-renewal potency of stem cells, which is just a fancy way of saying that astaxanthin tells the body to produce brand new stem cells. Even more remarkably, in another major study, this one published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences, when a team of 6 scientists over in Korea had looked at astaxanthin, guess what they found? Not only did it improve stem cell potency and proliferation, but even more amazingly, the scientists specifically mentioned that astaxanthin increased what are called neural progenitor cells. And those are the same kind of stem cells that the zebrafish use to repair their eyes too. So now I was getting chills, because it was a scientific fact that zebrafish use stem cells to repair their eyes. Then I saw that spirulina was proven to help the body grow more of that same type of stem cells. And now I was hearing that something called astaxanthin did the same thing too. And since, of course, the zebrafish's diet is filled with spirulina and astaxanthin, there really seemed to be a pretty clear-cut connection here. And we were still just getting started. Because Jonathan had found at least 3 more brand new studies, all published in peer-reviewed journals, all showing that astaxanthin increases the production of adult repair stem cells in the body. Plus, when we dug even deeper, we found there were also dozens of studies showing that astaxanthin directly improved vision and eyesight, including a big 2016 study out of Japan that was published in the journal Current Eye Research, which found that supplementing the diet with astaxanthin didn't just directly protect against damage to the retina, it also significantly reduced it and inhibited or stopped retinal cells from dying. It was almost too good to be true, but this was cold, hard, scientific research we were looking at, not just speculation. And it was at this moment that I finally gave myself permission to be excited and to believe that just maybe I really could restore my vision and save my eyes. And we still weren't done, because it turns out that zebrafish get a ton of something called L-carnitine in their diet too. You may have heard of L-carnitine before. It's an amino acid that's found in meat, and people often talk about it in terms of steak. But it turns out that krill and shrimp, 2 foods that zebrafish love to eat, are also loaded with this important nutrient. And sure enough, when Jonathan and I began doing more research, we found study after study showing that if you get L-carnitine in the right dosages, it can make your body's production of adult repair stem cells explode. And that it's especially effective at helping you grow new stem cells if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. On top of that, there were also several studies on the effect of L-carnitine on vision, including a major double-blind, randomized, and placebo-controlled human trial where 60 patients with AMD were divided into 2 groups, with half receiving a special supplement with L-carnitine, while the other half received a placebo, basically a fake pill. The study lasted for 3 months, and at the end of the study, the placebo group's AMD had stayed the same or even gotten worse, while for the L-carnitine group, their AMD level was significantly reduced. The researchers were stunned, but not me or Jonathan, because at this point, it was starting to become pretty obvious. 1, the zebrafish is able to produce new stem cells and regenerate its vision pretty much on demand. 2, the zebrafish's diet is loaded with nutrients that have been proven to get the body producing new stem cells. 3, so it just makes sense that when we humans take these same stem cell producing nutrients, we can heal our eyes too. It all added up here, at least on paper. But of course, that didn't mean this is what would actually happen in real life. Still though, given what we were seeing, Jonathan and I agreed that we should find a way to combine the ingredients we'd be studying together in the same dosages as from the those is because we also found a ton of research showing that they had the power to get the body producing more adult repair stem cells. Plus, each of those ingredients was directly linked to significantly better vision too. Then once we had our complete list, we took pretty much every single penny I had saved and hired a whole team of laboratory scientists at the local university, tasking them with the sole mission of combining these ingredients into a single pill form, something that was easy to swallow yet effective. We were really obsessive over the quality, purity, and bioavailability of these ingredients because we knew this was the only chance we had to save my dying eyes and defeat my AMD and cataracts for good. Then we tested these formulations day and night until finally, after months of negotiating with marine biologists and fishermen over in Asia and spending pretty much every single waking hour in the lab we'd rented here in Dallas, we had something we were ready to test. It was a single pill. It contained scientifically supported doses of each of the stem cell producing ingredients we'd uncovered. And all I kept thinking is, please God, let this work. Then it was the moment of truth. So on an unseasonably cool day in mid-October, I took my very first dose of this stem cell activating formula. And after that, all I could do was wait. 24 hours went by, then 48 hours, then 72 hours, and nothing happened. At least nothing noticeable. I knew this would take some time, but still I think I'd been hoping for an instant fix. And so even though it had only been 3 days, I couldn't help but start wondering if maybe I'd been a fool and if maybe this was all some kind of self-delusion and I should just give up. When I mentioned this to Jonathan, though, he just about smacked me. He said that of course this was going to take some time and I needed to be patient and put my trust in the man upstairs. So that's what I did. I kept taking my pill day after day, and on the morning of the 10th day, something pretty interesting happened. When I woke up, I still had the dark spots in the center of my eye, but it did seem like they were a little less bad. And I also noticed that my vision seemed a tad clearer too, not quite as cloudy as usual. It wasn't some miracle, but it was something, and that encouraged me to keep going, which is exactly what I did. I kept on taking this marine-based pill, and thank God for that, because it turned out that what happened on day 10, that was just the beginning. By the 21st day, those same dark spots were becoming dramatically lighter. There wasn't even a question of, is this working anymore? It was obvious. And some of the dark spots were even starting to disappear altogether. It's hard for me to describe, but imagine holding a black piece of paper up to a light, then starting to poke a bunch of holes in it, so that the light suddenly begins filtering through. That's exactly what I noticed by the 3rd week. Plus my cloudy lenses, they were pretty much all clear at this point too. And after the 3rd week, that's when things started to happen fast. By week 4, the tiny holes of light that had been punching through the darkness, they'd become much larger. Now I could look straight ahead and actually see what was in front of me. Not perfectly, but a lot better than before. And by the 7th week, the big black holes were now nothing but tiny little dots. Kind of like how they'd been when I was first diagnosed with AMD, which wasn't that bad at all. In fact, for the most part, my field of vision was entirely unblocked. And that's when I started thinking about getting my driving license again, because I realized that this really and truly was working. And finally, in the 3rd month, that's when vision started becoming high definition again. Because before that, I'd already been able to see in front of me again and make out faces and objects again without much trouble, but things had still been a little blurry. Not anymore though, and that's when I realized that we had really and truly done it. That I'd been able to fix my fading vision and heal my eyes entirely. I can't even describe the feeling that came over me then. But if you're suffering from dimming or fading vision right now, and I'm sure you can imagine what it would be like if suddenly you went from not being able to read or drive or really do much of anything at all, to having what are more or less brand new eyes. Eyes that take in all of God's beautiful world, in perfect clarity, in stunning color, in razor-sharp definition. It's enough to make you weep. And let me just tell you, the first time I saw my new granddaughter Anna, I mean really saw her, her beautiful hazel eyes, her curly hair like her mom's, that precious little smile, I wept uncontrollably, and I'm not even embarrassed to say it, because it was just such a miracle. I thought I'd never see her face before I died. Now I could see it in stunning 20/20 vision. And this is the point where things started to happen really fast, because my kids and their friends, and pretty much everyone I knew, they were all stunned by what had happened. Our pastor even actually called me up to the front of church one Sunday and had me recount my story, and he called it a miracle from God. And then I had dozens of members from our church wanting to know about me and Jonathan's discovery. Of course, I was happy to share what we'd created, and sure enough, in the months that followed, it was like our whole church began aging in reverse, because not only were folks' eyes being restored to perfect, glorious vision, but it was clear that we were all starting to look and feel a whole lot younger too. Which makes sense, since adult repair stem cells don't just heal your eyes, they literally have the power to heal and fix every single part of your body. Your skin, your hair, your nails, your heart, your liver, your brain, your pancreas, your colon. Stem cells' one and only job is to heal your body. And as the word continued to spread about this tiny church in Dallas where the blind were once again able to see, that's when the calls, emails, and letters came flooding in from all over the world, with folks asking if me and Jonathan would send them some of our vision healing breakthrough too. So at that point, we knew that's what we had to do, that this was God's calling for us, because it was obvious that what we discovered could save the eyes of so many. So we went to work producing our eye-restoring formula for the public. We were extremely careful about the production process and only used the purest and most bioavailable forms of each nutrient. This was crucial because we realized that while there already were other supplements out there that contained some of the ingredients we discovered, most of their ingredients were made synthetically in a lab, which was probably why they hadn't worked so good. And I wanted to make sure that in our case, we were delivering to people the most effective, natural, sight-saving formula on the planet. We decided to call our discovery VisiUltra because that's what it does. It clears up your vision while healing every single part of your eye at a cellular level. And because VisiUltra harnesses the power of adult repair stem cells, this is something that can refresh pretty much your entire body too. And now you're probably asking how you can get your hands on VisiUltra for yourself, along with how often do you need to take it for best results. To be honest, it's actually still very difficult for the general public to get VisiUltra, and the reason why is because many of the ingredients inside come from the pristine tropical waters of Southeast Asia, where they're sustainably harvested, then flown in fresh to the US, where they're carefully inspected for purity and quality before finally being transformed into a single beautiful capsule, something that retains all of these ingredients' freshness and potency. It's a truly amazing process, but it's also extremely expensive and time-consuming to do all of this, which is why each batch of VisiUltra can take up to 3 months to custom create. On top of that, because VisiUltra can heal virtually every part of the eye, pretty much everyone who uses it keeps on asking for more of this stuff because they never again want to go back to fading, dying vision, or feel the terror of realizing they're going blind. VisiUltra is also becoming extremely popular in hospitals and doctors' offices, which is putting even more of a strain on our production capacity. And because taking VisiUltra regularly is a way to refresh and repair virtually every cell in your body, something that can help lower high blood sugar, fight inflammation in the brain, revitalize your fading kidneys, and so much more. Even people who don't have poor eyesight have been ordering VisiUltra. That way they can say no to the aging process and actually grow younger every single day. And as a result of the fact that VisiUltra is expensive to manufacture, takes up to 3 months to produce a single batch, and keeps selling out, we frequently don't have any VisiUltra available for folks. But that being said, I also don't want anyone to suffer from the horror and loneliness of continuously weakening eyesight, which is why in the next few moments, I'll share how you can get your hands on a brand new bottle of VisiUltra as part of our breakthrough new Save My Vision program. First though, let me go back to that other question of how much VisiUltra you need to take. That's simple. Just take 4 capsules each day for at least 30 days. The reason why it's important that you take VisiUltra for at least 30 days is pretty straightforward. While the stem cell activating ingredients inside go to work pretty much immediately, the truth is that fully restoring your vision simply isn't something that happens overnight. Instead, it'll take some time, and this is especially true if your vision is really bad like mine was. Because in my case, it took almost 3 months before I went from legally blind to near perfect vision again. Of course, if your eyesight isn't as bad as mine was, you may see major results a lot faster. But still, I'd say it's important you plan on committing to VisiUltra for at least a month. And frankly, you'll probably end up wanting to take it a lot longer than that anyway, especially since this formula doesn't just help you produce new stem cells for your eyes, but it allows you to produce new, thriving adult repair stem cells everywhere in your body. Which means if your memory is fading, or your skin is wrinkly, or your heart is damaged, VisiUltra can help with these too. So it just makes sense to keep taking VisiUltra again and again, which is why most medical experts recommend you choose at least 3 bottles of VisiUltra and 6 bottles of VisiUltra if you want to be completely safe, then take it for a period of at least 90 days. That way, you can absolutely guarantee that you've healed your eyes on a cellular level, and you can experience all of those side benefits that come from healing every other part of your body too. That's exactly what happened to Brandy Mercer, who says, I started taking VisiUltra for my eyesight. I'd always been nearsighted and had to wear glasses. But I also have diabetes, and when I was diagnosed with retinopathy, I got scared. I feared never being able to see again, and that caused me to lose sleep. Fortunately though, VisiUltra did work as advertised, and now my vision is the best it has ever been. I don't even need to wear glasses, and I'm surprised that everything is so crystal clear. This alone is a blessing. But the craziest part is, it's not just my vision. Since taking VisiUltra, my diabetes has pretty much disappeared too. Last time I visited my doctor, he said my blood sugar was completely normal. I think it's because my new stem cells didn't just heal my eyes, they helped my pancreas too. And Professor Roger Benson, who recently wrote us and said, "I've had to rethink a lot of things since I saw your work. To be honest, I was elitist before. I didn't think anyone but scientists like me could answer questions about human health. Now I know that's not true. It's amazing how sound the science is here. I'm so impressed that you guys made the connection between zebrafish and the nutrients they eat. It's so obvious, yet all of us highly educated folks missed it. You didn't, and thank God for that. I've now started recommending this solution to all my clients, and it's producing stunning results. Great work, guys." Those real-life testimonials you just heard are only a few of the hundreds I'm now receiving each month about VisiUltra. And you should know that VisiUltra is only available on the website while there's supplies in stock and we're able to stay in business. You see, the truth is, Jonathan and I are currently facing over a dozen injunctions from pharmaceutical lawyers who hate what we're doing and who hate that there's a natural and effective way to restore eyesight, something that is actually good for your body and that bulletproofs you from disease, infection, and even old age to boot. We're fighting a war almost every day not to let Big Pharma win, but I don't want you to wait on taking action and reclaiming your life with VisiUltra. VisiUltra is your only real chance to regain your fading vision, and it's something that can protect both your eyes and your entire body for decades to come, while allowing you to retain your independence and freedom for as long as you want, without needing to spend thousands of dollars on drugs, injections, glasses, magnifying glasses, lasers, or anything else. VisiUltra is about giving you your life back, and all it takes is you using these powerful stem cell activating ingredients per day to heal your vision forever. Of course, this isn't to say that there aren't other options. I just mentioned the injections, the drugs, the vision aids, and all those things, all of which can be helpful, I guess, but they're also so incredibly expensive. Plus, none of those things actually stop your dying eyes. They're simply band-aids at best. Another option is to wait to see if Big Pharma ever makes a stem cell procedure available to the American public, and in my opinion, this will happen because the world's best scientists are already using stem cells to cure blindness right now. The thing with waiting, though, is that who knows how long it'll be until these treatments are commercially available. Plus, just like with any other breakthrough, chances are they're going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars for the first several years, and even then, it'll be a risky procedure where lab-grown stem cells are being inserted into your eyes, which is not just creepy, but also entirely unnecessary, especially when, with VisiUltra, you can simply take 4 small capsules of natural, 100% safe nutrients, and then those nutrients do what God intended them to do. They get your body producing more and more of those precious adult repair stem cells, then tell your body to send them to the places where they're needed the most. Places like your damaged eyes, so that they can go to work on healing your vision and making you 100%. And considering that this is exactly what VisiUltra does, I'm sure you can understand why I originally set the investment in this breakthrough to $149 per bottle, which honestly, I think is extremely fair. It's less than you'll pay for doctor visits, laser surgery, injections, and oral medications over the course of the year. Yet unlike those other options, VisiUltra is a proven breakthrough that can renew every single cell inside your eye. Plus, considering that there is only one supplement manufacturing facility in the entire world that has the capabilities to make VisiUltra, and that each capsule contains the purest and most bioavailable marine forms of these stem cell activating ingredients, $149 really is a steal. But despite all of that, this isn't about making a profit for me or my nephew. Of course, we could use the money to help with my legal bills, especially since every single day we're fighting the prescription drug cartels who are constantly trying to sue our pants off and shut us down. But ultimately, our mission is to help people. We don't want money, we want you to be healed. We want to save more people's eyesight, just like mine, which means that we think everyone needs to be able to access VisiUltra. That's why we're offering this vision-saving breakthrough to the public for the first time ever through our special Save My Vision program, and why if you act right now and make the life-changing decision to join the 8,000 plus men and women before you, you can get your hands on VisiUltra for just $69 per bottle. And actually, that's just the start. I understand that stopping vision loss and healing your eyes isn't just important to you, it's also important to your family and loved ones. Because I want to make sure that you and those you care about continue to enjoy brand new eyes that allow you to see the entire world in beautiful, sharp, crystal clear focus. Jonathan and I have created a special discounted package plan where you can get 6 bottles of VisiUltra for just $49 per bottle. This special discounted package is only being offered to you today through this website as part of our Save My Vision program, and only while supplies last. Plus, you'll also get free shipping today, which is a $9.99 value, but both the special multi-bottle discount and the free shipping are limited. When we run out of bottles of VisiUltra again, it will take up to 3 months before another batch is available. So, Click the 6-bottle package, or any other package you choose, below this video right now to secure your order. This is truly one of the smallest but most important investments that you'll ever make in your health and well-being. A single bottle of VisiUltra will start repairing your eyes on a cellular level. 3 bottles will do the same thing while ensuring these changes stay in place. And 6 bottles of VisiUltra will give you an entirely new set of eyes while flooding your body with powerful, healing adult repair stem cells. Stem cells that go to work healing damage everywhere at once, improving your heart, your brain, your colon, your skin, and everything else as a result. Plus, when you order VisiUltra in the next 6 minutes, I'm also going to give you 2 powerful and important bonuses for free. Bonus number 1, the 3-week Eagle Eye system, retail value of $47. The 3-week Eagle Eye system is a step-by-step protocol showing you how to use nutrition to naturally improve your eyesight in as little as 3 weeks. Inside you'll find the most common health foods that are actually wreaking havoc on your vision and causing it to deteriorate faster than a speeding bullet. An in-depth list of the natural, affordable foods scientifically proven to dramatically improve your vision without starving yourself or totally changing your diet. 21 delicious all-natural smoothie recipes designed to turbocharge your growth of natural stem cells and achieve crystal clear sight. Bonus number 2, the VisiUltra at-home test pack, retail value of $27. The VisiUltra at-home test pack is a comprehensive package complete with eye charts, simple eye tests, and a custom tracker so you can monitor your progress. Imagine waking up each morning and feeling the excitement of seeing one more row down on the eye chart, the confidence you'll get as your vision gets sharper and clearer, and the relief that'll wash over you as you realize you finally have control over your fading eyesight. With the VisiUltra Home Eye Test Kit, you'll experience all this and more. Okay, so at this point you're probably thinking that this all sounds really exciting and you're asking, how do I get started? Just click the button below right now and choose the package of VisiUltra that's best for you. You'll then go to the secure checkout page where you'll enter your order details, and within just 5 business days from now, you'll receive VisiUltra to your front door. So go ahead and click the button below now to secure VisiUltra while there are still bottles in stock. This should be an absolute no-brainer because you're also covered by a 180-day, 100% money-back guarantee. It works like this. Begin using VisiUltra now, see how it starts to bring your vision into focus, how the cloudiness disappears, the dark spots vanish, the distortions fade away, and how you're suddenly finding you no longer need to squint your eyes to read road signs in the distance or even the text message on your phone. It really is like going from watching an old standard definition television to an ultra-sharp HD one, and over 8,430 other folks have already experienced this exact same thing. But if for any reason you're not happy with your results using VisiUltra, simply email or call my US-based customer service team 24/7 and we will give you a prompt and immediate refund with 0 questions asked. You have nothing to lose here except the fear and anxiety of living your life in the dark. It's a 100% risk-free investment. So go ahead and click one of the buttons you see below now to get started healing your vision. This presentation is now ending and the ultimate decision is yours. One of your choices is to stop watching this video and go on with your day. That's your right. But what will change if you make that choice? How are you going to feel in a month, 6 months, or a year from now if you don't take action today and your eyesight is still fading? Or God forbid, how will you feel if your vision disappears entirely and suddenly it's like you're trapped inside a pitch black cave? Will you still have your sense of smell, your sense of touch, your sense of taste, but you know you'll never see another face, never see anything for as long as you live? The sad truth is that most people wait too long to act, and if left untreated, your dying eyes will eventually go dark for good. I'm not saying this to scare you, I'm truly not. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to be a victim here. I'm telling you this because I want you to make the right choice by reclaiming your vision and clicking one of the buttons you see below this video. Right now, you can get VisiUltra for just $69 per bottle, and for even less than that if you get one of my more popular packages. Plus, because I really want you to heal your vision once and for all, I'm also giving you free shipping and those 2 added bonuses as an extra incentive to make the right decision today. When supplies of VisiUltra run out though, it'll be 3 months until we get more in. When the Save My Vision program ends, the price goes back up to $149 per bottle, so that we can at least break even instead of losing money with each bottle we sell, which is what's happening now. All of which means you really must act now. My mission is to make blindness and poor vision a distant memory by wiping them out of existence forever. You can play a large part in achieving this noble goal by participating in the Save My Vision program today and receiving your order of VisiUltra to your front door in just a few short days from now. It's your decision, but this is your last chance. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless. Sincerely, John Nichols. Still here? No problem. I know we just covered a lot. To help you out, let me go ahead and answer some of the most common questions you might have. 1. How does VisiUltra work again? It all started when I heard about zebrafish. These animals live in seas of Southeast Asia and they have the ability to regenerate their eyes, no matter how much damage has been done to them. This means that the zebrafish never lose their vision. And when my nephew and I started looking into the diet of the zebrafish and what they ate, we found that practically all of their favorite foods have been scientifically proven to get the body producing brand new adult repair stem cells. On top of that, there were also numerous vision-specific studies on these ingredients too, showing that they help to improve vision and eyesight in humans, and that's when we put 2 and 2 together and realized that if we took the right dosages of these nutrients, then combined them into a highly absorbable, highly potent pill, we could help everyday folks to activate their body's natural stem cell producing abilities and restore their vision too. That's when we created VisiUltra. And while I was the first test subject for all of this, it's now been used by over 8,000 folks and almost to a person. Those folks are reporting that since they started taking VisiUltra on a daily basis, their vision has been restored. 2. Why haven't I heard of VisiUltra before? So far, more than 8,430 Americans have used VisiUltra with powerful results. I've already had a lot of interest from major newspapers and media outlets about VisiUltra, especially since this is something that is restoring folks' vision entirely naturally, without them needing to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or being the 1 out of 11 million folks who get selected to participate in some clinical trial from Harvard. So far though, I've chosen to try and keep this breakthrough underground. And the reason why is because the last thing I want is to get even higher up on Big Pharma's hit list. Vision is already a multi-$100 billion industry, and the pharma lawyers will stop at nothing to silence me. I'm already dealing with lawsuits every single day, and the last thing I want is to raise an even higher profile. 3. Who is VisiUltra for? VisiUltra is for anyone who suffers from vision loss, whether it's caused by cataracts, glaucoma, AMD, retinopathy, or something else. It's also a great choice for anyone who wants to opt out of the aging process, because once your stem cells are activated, they go to work and heal every single part of your body, which means the longer you take VisiUltra, the more biologically young you become. Additionally, there's 0 side effects, and you can take it with other supplements. 4. What happens once I click the button below? Once you choose your package below, you'll get to my 100% secure checkout page. Then just enter your payment information and place your order. After that, you'll receive VisiUltra in the next 5 business days, which means you're less than a week away from starting to make your poor eyesight a thing of the past. 5. How long does it take to restore my vision? You'll start noticing improvements pretty fast, but the time it takes to restore your vision entirely is going to vary. Really, it comes down to how bad the damage to your eyes is currently. For me personally, I was pretty much entirely blind, and it took just over 3 months to reclaim 20/20 vision. For others, they've reported it took only a few weeks to get similar results, but each person is different. 6. Can you remind me of the guarantee you mentioned? Absolutely. VisiUltra comes with a 180-day, 100% money-back guarantee. That means you order VisiUltra today, then have a full 6 months to decide if it's right for you. If you're like the 8,000 plus people who have used VisiUltra already, then you will be thrilled with the results. But if you're not, for any reason, simply call or email my customer service team and we'll refund your investment with 0 questions asked. How long will VisiUltra be available? It's hard to say. My hope is that VisiUltra will make vision loss a thing of the past, but because Big Pharma is furious about this breakthrough and is spending millions of dollars on legal fees to try and silence me, it's uncertain if I'll be able to fight them off forever. That's why it's important you get VisiUltra today, especially since it comes with a 180-day, 100% money-back guarantee, which means there's 0 risk to you. All right, I really want VisiUltra. What now? This part is simple. Just click one of the buttons below and choose your package. Then complete your order and VisiUltra will be in your hands in just 5 business days from now. Plus, there's no risk because of my ironclad guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click the 6-bottle package or any other package you choose below this video right now to secure your order. From the bottom of my heart, thanks again for watching, and God bless you.